Today we're back reading some more Am I the A-hole? I don't even feel like this subreddit needs an introduction. We already know what to expect. It's gonna be wild, it's gonna be unbelievable, and also probably a lot of fun. Enjoy, guys. Am I the a-hole for only buying my parents stuff that cannot be shared or taken while my brother and his family live with us? My brother, 32, has been knocking up his wife, 32, since they were in high school. Well, we're straight into it right off the gate. Their oldest is now 13, but they have 3 more. She's a stay-at-home mum and he works as cleaning staff at a FIFO camp. It's pretty good money, but they waste a lot of it. They have multiple gaming systems and the 2 oldest kids have very new iPhones. I, 28, live in the loft above my parents' garage. I don't pay rent because my folks want me to save up for my future. I help out around the house and I buy groceries for my parents as well as myself. My brother and his family live in the in-law suite in my parents' basement. It was supposed to be a rental to get some extra money for when they retire, but after my brother lost his job because he wouldn't get vaccinated, our folks let them move in. I also love to buy them gifts, but my brother and his family always needed exactly what I happened to give them. For example, I brought my mum a very colourful bag from Colombia called a mochila. It's just a woven cotton shoulder bag made with a very vibrantly coloured yarn. My niece 9 saw it and wanted to use it for a project at school, where she promptly lost it. I got my father a bottle of Van Winkler bourbon since he loves to have a drink after a long day. My brother and his wife found it and drank it, mixed with orange juice because it was so strong tasting. So now I do other stuff. I took my mum to go see Anastasia, and I got us really good seats. Nobody else was invited. I took my dad out for a steak dinner and then to a speakeasy in our city and treated him to a $160 cocktail. These are things my parents love doing but won't waste money on. I keep the groceries I buy in my loft. I will make meals for my parents and have them over, or I'll bring the ingredients and I'll cook with my dad. My brother started asking why I don't leave the groceries in the freezer, fridge or pantry that they have access to, and why I stopped buying my parents gifts. He says I'm living there for free and I should give them more. I asked him how much he was paying in rent and how he was contributing to the household, and he said that he was tired on the weeks that he was home and that his wife and the kids were too busy to help. I work a full-time job. I volunteer at a cat rescue, I do theatre sports as a hobby, and I still help with the yard work and the housework and errands, and also helping with my grandmother who's in a locked-in facility for dementia patients. I pointed this out and he said I was being a little biatch. I said I wasn't stupid enough to leave anything around that he or his family could steal. Now we're fighting and my parents are upset. His wife called me an a-hole for not sharing the treats I buy for my parents. I can afford to buy treats for my parents and I, but not for 5 more people who do not contribute. Oh yeah, you're not the a-hole, OP. People like this are so annoying. You buy some food and you go to eat it and it's gone because people are bloody entitled and they just eat your stuff. And yeah, they're being hard on you for not contributing enough when they barely contribute. Yeah, nah, I would not be able to live with somebody like this. The top comment says not the a-hole. That's actually clever. I'd keep that up. Sporting events, movies, more dinners, shows and any kind of experience besides effects that can be stolen. As for your paying rent or not, that's between your parents and you. It's none of your mooching, stealing brother's business. You could always tell him a porcupine and he wouldn't be any the wiser, whether you're paying $1 or $5,000. And of course, you should not be buying treats for your brother's family. That's his duty. In the long run, I don't think you'll be happy in that house as long as your brother's there. What you have to figure out is which one of you is going to move out. I find it ridiculous that a man who can father half a football team has had to move in with his parents. He should actually be made to keep it wrapped up. Yeah, that's a very good point. Having all of these kids that they can't afford, to the point that they have to move back in with their parents, and they're getting upset at OP for not contributing to them enough. Yeah, nah, you're not the a-hole, OP. Am I the a-hole for sending my daughter to school in her pajamas? My 7-year-old daughter, Elsie, has recently started to make mornings more difficult by throwing a fit when we ask her to get dressed for school. We've tried setting her clothes out the night before, but she still makes an issue out of it, and she doesn't want to sleep in her clothes, so that's not an option either. My wife leaves for work before me, so I'm normally the one who has to deal with the tantrums in the morning. I woke Elsie up, and as always, she refused to get dressed. I wasn't really in the mood to deal with her BS, and I didn't have the energy to fight with her about it, so I told her it was okay and I'll just take her to school in her pajamas. She looked pretty shocked because I don't think it was the outcome she was expecting, but the rest of the morning went a lot smoother than normal. We got in the car and she was more quiet than usual, so I could tell she wasn't really sure what to think of it, but after a while of driving, I guess the realization set in, and she told me she wanted to go home and change. I told her she'd already made her decision and I wasn't driving her back home now. She started freaking out, saying that she wanted me to drive back home and she didn't want to go to school in her pajamas, but I wasn't turning the car around, so we arrived at school and she eventually went in. After my wife came home from collecting her from school, she looked pissed. She didn't say anything in front of Elsie, but later in the evening, as expected, she went off on me. She started saying that I'd embarrassed her and made us look like bad parents who can't be bothered to dress our daughter. I told her that I'm sure Elsie isn't the first child to go to school in pajamas, and it's not the end of the world, and she wears normal clothes every other day, so one day in pajamas isn't going to make everybody think we're bad parents. She told me she thought it was a cruel thing to do to Elsie, but in my opinion, it was harmless and it taught her a lesson. Yeah, pretty much all the comments are saying not the a-hole. The top comment says, not the a-hole, your daughter was testing boundaries and she learned the limit. If you'd turned around, she might have done the same the next day and started a new pattern. By sticking to your decision in a harmless environment when your daughter was in no danger, she did learn a lesson about the consequences of her actions. Plenty of kids show up in pajamas or costumes or funky or cool not funky smelly clothes all the time. And also this comment, I don't think you're the a-hole, but I would have brought a backup set of clothes for her in case you did decide to change in the car before school. Yeah, I don't really feel like it's a big deal either, OP. And yeah, they're probably not going to do it again. Like yeah, 100%. Actions have consequences. And yeah, it almost definitely won't happen again. So yeah, it's not really a big deal and people aren't going to immediately assume that you're bad parents. Am I the a-hole for refusing to share my vacation home with my in-laws for 6 months after they sold their house without consulting me? Background, my husband 35 male and I 33 female have been married for 5 years. We own a beautiful vacation home on the beach that we built ourselves and we use during the year. My in-laws in their 60s have always been welcome guests, visiting for a few weeks here and there and contributing financially towards maintenance costs. Last month, my in-laws suddenly announced that they were selling their house to downsize and move into a tiny condo. Apparently, they've been secretly harboring this idea for months, never mentioning it to me or my husband. They plan to close on the sale in 2 weeks and then move into our vacation home for 6 months while they quote-unquote figure things out. I was floored. This house is our sanctuary, not a retirement home extension. We use it frequently. We have friends and family booked to visit during the year and rely on the income it generates during peak season. My in-laws, on the other hand, haven't lifted a finger on the property themselves and contributed only minimally. My husband, bless his sweetheart, is more understanding. He feels bad for his parents and believes that we can make it work. His in-laws, sensing my resistance, are now guilt-tripping us, claiming that they have nowhere else to go and offering to pay significantly more than their usual contribution. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let them move in? On one hand, I feel obligated to help family in need, but on the other hand, this feels like an outrageous imposition on our personal space and finances. Edited to add an update as it'll likely get lost down in the comments. I'll give a quick update while I wait to get the kids from school and answer a few questions I saw pop up. We co-own the beach house. We bought it in 2020 when interest rates were super low before houses skyrocketed. The in-laws have helped us with projects and pay for a few things, but so do my parents. So I've never thought of their contribution as anything but help from parents. They had their annual Old Farts Christmas party there this past December. Their words, not mine. And had the place for a week free of charge for them and all of their guests. So they've definitely gotten plenty of use out of it. We had a come to Jesus sort of moment yesterday and I was the a-hole to my husband. I told him I was done and I wasn't even going to entertain them staying there as it's our business and this is bad business. I basically told him I was over his mum and it was at the point that I'm about to peace out because I can't handle her crap anymore. Previous to this, I was no contact with her and I'd entertain them when they'd come and visit. They never stayed at our house as we lived relatively close to them. He still has no clue if they're truly selling their house, if they're upside on bills or they're just a-holes, but I honestly don't care. My parents are immigrants and own a restaurant and have worked their asses off to create a fantastic life for me and my siblings. They also taught us the value of money and working hard for the things that we have. The vacation home was bought cheap, but 90% of the renovations were done by me during my free time. Renovations are my true love. Nursing pays the bills. I love it too, but it doesn't fill the creative cup. I told him he'd lose the house to his parents over my dead body, and if he feels the need to financially set them up, he can do so with extra money that he earns from picking up shifts, also a nurse. Basically, I told him that their failure was not an emergency on my part. They've always kept up with the Joneses and spent exorbitantly, so they might be broke, and again, I don't care. I've barely tolerated his mum for the past few years. I'll be cordial because I was raised well, but I'm over tolerating their nonsense. I will say that he does see all this crap that she pulls, but he was raised that mum knows best. He's Puerto Rican, so this is partially cultural, but I'm done. I worked yesterday and I busted my ass and then drove the kids to the beach house last night and picked up dinner and we're all there and I just thought F no. So yeah, time will tell, but he called his parents on speakerphone and told them they couldn't stay, but the offer to condo hunt is still open, but he needs to know the price range and all that jazz. His mum cried and flipped the phone off, so as of this moment it's not happening. I also told him if it's a problem he can quit claim deed the beach house and I'll cover the expenses and manage it myself, cause mama don't play. Yeah, of course, you're not the a-hole, OP. And that bit where you said their failure was not an emergency on my part, I feel like that pretty much sums up this entire post. It's not your responsibility even a little bit, and the fact that they just told you about this and assumed that you'd be totally fine with them staying there for 6 months, like the bloody audacity. And yeah, you can say no to stuff like this all you like, it doesn't make you an a-hole. Them expecting it is the a-hole move, and also it doesn't really seem like the husband is helping the situation, like at all. Yeah, good luck, OP. Am I the a-hole for telling my roommate that either his pregnant girlfriend stops whining or he moves out? I'm male 28, live in an apartment that I got from my uncle. The apartment has 2 bedrooms, so as I don't need the extra space, I rented the room. My roommate, male 24, has been living with me for a little bit over a year and a half. He's been dating his girlfriend, female 24 as well, I believe, for like 5 years or so. She lives in another house and has 4 roommates herself. As her house is more crowded, my roommate asked me if it was okay if she stayed over sometimes. I agreed, since I don't really have a problem with it at all, as long as they're respectful. We haven't had any major issues until now, but his girlfriend got pregnant, he told me, and I was like, oh great, congratulations. He did try to bring up a conversation to see if I allowed her to move in with him, but I said no. I work from home most of the time. I don't want to deal with a third person or a newborn in the future. He asked if she could still come and stay some nights as before, and I said that was fine. She's like 4 or so months along with her pregnancy. Well, these last 3 months she's grown to be very annoying whenever she's staying over. What I mean is that I got woken up in the middle of the night or early morning too many times because she's running to the bathroom at the end of the hallway. I have my own connected to my room, but my guests sometimes use it and they have said that it's dirty and messy. She's staying over a lot more nights than she used to before, and the biggest problem is she's developed some really bad nausea. Even now she's still having morning sickness, which I believe they must have stopped already. We have many issues regarding food because my roommate and her asked me to stop having some foods that get her sick. I told her that this is not her house. She has no right to come in and expect me to change my diet because of her. They took that very badly. I continue my life as normal. She always complains and runs to the bathroom when I cook. There have been a couple of times when she's actually thrown up on the floor too, which is disgusting. I'm sick of it, to be honest, so I told my roommate that either she stops coming over, she stops complaining, or he moves out. I'd give him a month or 2 if he needs to find somewhere else to live, but I'm tired of having his girlfriend over. She's annoying me. He of course got very upset and said that she wouldn't annoy me so much if I was more understanding of her condition, said that they're not in a comfortable position to move, that she's sick and needs his support and all of that. Some of my friends, co-workers and family are on my side, but some others have said that I'm behaving like a total a-hole and I could easily change my diet for a couple of months. Am I the a-hole? Edit, y'all are right, I need to evict him. It sucks because even though we're not friends, he was a really good roommate, but it's too risky to have him here when the baby's born. Hopefully they can find somewhere else to live. I'll try to have the conversation with him today. Yeah, that's definitely the right move, OP. And yeah, I don't know who you were talking to, but I don't feel like you're the a-hole. Not even a little bit. OP also said in the comments here, I'm not saying that she's being selfish by vomiting or that she's faking it. Not at all. What I am saying is that she doesn't live here. She doesn't need to be here. So if the smell of my food triggers her, then she should stay at her own house. And about the bathroom thing, she's, I don't know, running to the bathroom. She stomps on the floor and closes the door very hard. She's making a lot of unnecessary noise when it's late at night. Yeah, like this comment says, not the a-hole, she doesn't live there. And you've made it very clear that you don't want an infant in the house since you work from home. While I do agree that you might be a little bit more accommodating while she's there, your roommate and his girlfriend need to move into their own space to prepare for the baby. They made a choice to get pregnant and stay pregnant, so they need to adult up and prepare for bringing another life into this world that they'll need to support. I was going to say that everybody sucks here until she threw up on the floor multiple times. That's nasty. While I know you can't control morning sickness, she should be able to make it to a bathroom or sink or garbage can to throw up. Yeah, at the end of the day, they're having a child. They 100% can't stay under your roof, OP. And yeah, hopefully evicting your roommate goes okay. Am I the a-hole for calling a girl ugly in front of all of my friends? I, 23 female, am a lesbian. I've known most people of my main friend group since school days. We're 11 people, 8 of us went to middle school and high school together. I came out to them in March of 2023. Coincidentally, our group got a new member around the same time. Mary, 24 female. Your group got a new member. What is this, the Stonecutters?
Who leaves Atlantis off the maps?
Who keeps the Martians under wraps?
We do.
Mary, 24, female. I came out shortly after she got added to all the group chats, and she made a joke about how she awoke something in me. I laughed it off and I thought that was it. Well, it wasn't. She would repeatedly make these jokes about how she was my gay awakening, because apparently it was a really weird coincidence that I came out right after she joined the friend group. Oh my god, and they're not joking. After a while, it stopped being funny and I took her aside. By that point, it had been going on for 5 months, and I told her that these comments make me uncomfortable, and I asked her to stop, and she brushed me off. The comments didn't get any less, and she started making them in front of people outside the friend group too. It became really annoying, and whenever she said these things, I made a point of correcting her, but she always kind of laughed about it. I tried joking back that she wasn't my type, but I think my constant insisting that she was lying made it seem like she was right, if that makes sense. It was frustrating. 2 days ago was my final straw. We went to a party and Mary knew a girl there, Jeannie, 24, female, and waved the rest of us over to introduce us. Turns out Jeannie was also gay, which Mary made a point of telling me directly. Before I could even say anything, she turned back to Jeannie and pointed at me and went, "She's gay too, you know, but don't get your hopes up too high. She kinda has a crush on me." I was really annoyed and I said, "You know that's not true. Stop telling people that." To which she said, "You don't need to be embarrassed. I'm pretty hot," in a joking tone. I snapped at her. "That's a weird way to say effing ugly." She went quiet and excused herself. Yesterday I got a long message about how hurt and disappointed she was. Most of her mutual friends are on my side except for 2 who weren't there and refused to take sides. Fair enough. But a lot of other people who witnessed it have been blowing up my phone over how mean what I said was. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted. Am I the a-hole? Nah, you're not the a-hole, OP. You told them multiple different times to stop, and they didn't. Obviously, yeah, what you said was a pretty a-holey thing to say, but in this context, you're not the a-hole. You tried multiple different times to tell them, and they just didn't get it. Yeah, like these comments say, not the a-hole. Most commenters seem to think that she has a crush on you. However, my read is a little different. I think she's jealous. My guess is you're more attractive than she is, so claiming you have a crush on her, she simultaneously is telling available women that you're emotionally unavailable and that she's a catch. This woman doesn't sound like a real friend, and the comment under it, or she's just so unbelievably full of herself that she genuinely thinks that nobody who's attracted to women cannot be attracted to her. Either way, sounds like a bad person. If somebody says they're uncomfortable with a joke that you're making about them, then you stop making the joke point blank. Anybody who doesn't isn't a real friend. Yeah, 100%. If you're saying stuff like this and people are telling you to stop, but you don't stop, well, yeah, you're kind of asking for it. Like they definitely had it coming. Am I the a-hole for saying that my sister's family can't temporarily move in with me and my wife due to their quote-unquote pets? I, 30 male, have been married to my wife Naomi, 29 female, for 3 years, but have been together for over 10 years and we're expecting our first child together. Naomi is currently 6.5 months pregnant, and I'm not gonna lie, but her pregnancy is considered high risk, and our doctor advised her to avoid any stressful situations because of it. About 6 months ago, my sister Kate, 38 female, bought a newly built house with her husband Bob, 40 male, so they can accommodate all of my nephews who are 17 male, 15 male, 7 female, and twins that are 14 months old. Their house is 6 bedroom. Extra bedroom is used as Bob's hobby room. Bob is a lot into insects and spiders, so he has a few tarantulas and cockroaches, etc. Now to the issue. Later survey has discovered that Kate's house is not safe to live in due to some construction issues. I don't know why it hasn't been picked up earlier, but now they have nowhere to live and they've started a legal battle against the company responsible for building to get their money back. Currently they can't afford to buy another house. All renters' prices for the places for rent are way too high in their area. Due to this, my sister has asked me if they can temporarily move in with me and Naomi, since Naomi inherited a large house from her parents. It's an older Victorian house that still requires a lot of work. So far we've only replaced all the windows to keep it warm. The house has enough space for my sister and her family, and I said they can move in with us as long as they don't bring their tarantulas and other insects with them, as my wife is terrified of spiders to the point of passing out or having a severe panic attack, and Bob has them escaping frequently. Bob refused. This resulted in a massive argument where I was called an a-hole for not providing my sister and her family with accommodation at the time of need over some spiders. Yeah, that doesn't make you an a-hole. Bob should bloody figure something out. Edit, as this has been mentioned a few times. I have asked my wife and I have spoken to her about my sister staying over, and it was her choice to agree as long as there were no spiders. I haven't made the decision myself without asking for her opinion first. Edit number 2. I've seen a lot of people recommending my wife go to therapy over her fear of spiders. She is in therapy over it. However, it's a bit complicated as one of her family members passed away due to complications caused after a spider bite while they were on holiday. I hope this explains why her fear is as severe as it is. Wow, okay. Yeah, literally the top comment. Not the a-hole. If Bob's priority is his cockroaches and not his kids, that's on him. You absolutely provided an option. Tell your sister that she and her kids can still move in if they want, and Bob can sort him and his bugs out on his own. It's absolutely fine to have boundaries and rules in place when you help somebody out like this. If they do move in, you really should make sure to set firm guidelines for living together. If Bob is going to act like this over what to me is a very obvious concession that he'd have to make while looking for this type of help, then you have to have a really transparent conversation about what is and isn't acceptable, and what house rules that you'd have that would be deal breakers, since you and your wife would be in the minority in the household, and there's a good chance you could lose control of things in a way that could be damaging to your relationship, also your marriage and your sanity. The first thing I would do is find out exactly what the construction issues are, and how realistic the legal battle is, and what their financial plan is to get into their own place, and how they're going to be contributing financially while they live with you, so you can make sure that you aren't opening your door to them moving in forever. Yeah, 1,000,000%. If Bob is more worried about his insects than his kids and family, yeah, that's on him. And to be honest, after how Bob is acting, I wouldn't want him moving in anyway. It sounds like there could be heaps of issues if they moved in. Yeah, you're completely not the a-hole, OP. And that's enough for today. Let's read something wholesome. Horizontal Mumbo is great, but if you ever said yes to a last-minute made-up plan, and it ended up being one of your greatest memories of your life, yeah, that's so true. It's always so unexpected. Like, wow, that was amazing, and I didn't expect it to be. Lego department employee, can I help you find something? Do you have a boy or a girl? Me? I have a me. Yeah, what are you talking about, boy or a girl? This Lego's for me, okay? Dad, keep that dog away from me. 2 weeks later, yeah, they end up loving them so much. That's really cute, and that's a beautiful place to end today's episode. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time, and if you did, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to JZ5986. Entitled people are so annoying. The only silver lining is when there's some malicious compliance. Yeah, 1,000,000%. That's what's so fun about the revenge story subreddits too. It's so fun to read stuff like that. And yeah, entitled people are very much annoying, and I'm happy you enjoyed the episodes. Okay, I'm out of here. Thank you for all the support, guys. Make sure you look after yourself, and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say, because I say it every single day. Bye!